If I told you there's one money mistake that boomers, Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z all repeat, different lives, same trap, and that you're probably doing your version of it right now, would you want to know what it is? Stay with me for the next 20 minutes, because in this video, you'll learn the hidden pattern behind every generation's biggest money regret. How it shows up as houses, lifestyle creep, experiences, and aesthetic flexing. And the simple assets first, lifestyle second rule that can quietly make you wealthier than most of your friends. And here's the twist. This mistake never feels like a mistake while you're making it. It feels like progress. So if you think you're pretty good with money, you're exactly who I'm talking to. Imagine you're 65. You did everything right. Nice house, good job, decent car, fun trips, cool photos. But when you finally sit down and look at the numbers, there's just enough to survive, not enough to relax. You can't help your kids with a down payment. You can't retire without worrying about every grocery bill. You're not broke, but you're trapped. And the crazy part, you didn't get here by being reckless. You got here by following what your generation told you success should look like. Give me 60 seconds and I'll show you 4 different people, one from each generation, and you'll see the same mistake in all of them. After that, we'll zoom out to the real data from the US economy so you can see how this trap shows up in the numbers, not just in stories. And if at any point you think, this doesn't apply to me, I'm financially enlightened, I've got a Gen Z story with ring lights and iced coffee that might hurt your feelings a little, in a good way. Here's the big idea right up front. Every generation spends too much on the signal of wealth and not enough on the substance of wealth. The signal is what looks like success. Your house, your car, your vacations, your aesthetic, your feed. The substance is what actually makes you free. Your assets, your investments, your savings, your ownership. Boomers turned the house into the whole plan. Gen X turned every raise into a bigger lifestyle. Millennials turned experiences into a substitute for assets. Gen Z risks performing wealth online before they've actually built it offline. In a couple of minutes, I'll show you a simple chart where 7 out of every $10 of American household debt is tied to one thing, and you'll instantly see one version of this trap on paper. But first, let's meet 4 people. Different ages, different lives, same mistake. Meet Frank. Frank is 68. He bought his dream home in the suburbs in the late 1980s, raised kids there, hosted barbecues, planted a garden that neighbors still compliment. On paper, Frank looks rich. His house is worth about 4 times what he paid for it. In today's America, that's not unusual. Mortgages make up roughly 3/4 of total household debt, and loan balances are over $13 trillion right now. On screen, show a simple bar chart. One big bar labeled mortgage debt around $13 trillion and smaller bars for credit cards, auto loans, and student loans. Keep it simple and bold. But here's the problem. Almost all of Frank's net worth is trapped inside the house he lives in. His pension? Cut when his company restructured. His retirement accounts? Decent, but not enough to fund 25 years of retirement comfortably. If he wants to access most of his wealth, he has to sell the house and walk away from 40 years of memories. The house wasn't the mistake. The mistake was believing the house was the whole plan. Frank spent decades maintaining the signal, renovations, landscaping, upgrades, while underfunding the diversified assets and liquid savings that would give him flexibility at 68. Frank built a giant, beautiful financial castle and forgot to install doors he can actually walk through without selling the castle. Imagine being his age, sitting in a home everyone envies, and silently thinking, I don't know if I can afford to stay here. That's the emotional cost of confusing the signal with the substance.
Now, meet Lisa. Lisa is 49. Solid career in marketing, 2 kids, good salary, comfortable life. She did what many Gen X professionals did. Every time her income went up, her lifestyle went up with it. Promotion at 32, new car. Hit 6 figures in her late 30s, bigger house. Kids hit middle school, annual big vacations. New title at 42, premium gym, nicer neighborhood, upgraded everything. Individually, none of these decisions were crazy. She could afford them, she earned them. This is what we call lifestyle creep. Your expenses quietly grow at almost the same speed as your income, so your savings rate barely moves. On screen, show a line chart with two lines, income rising steadily, expenses rising almost in parallel, leaving a thin gap labeled wealth building gap. Keep it clean and minimal. At 49, Lisa looks successful. Nice home, nice car, nice trips. But when she checks her retirement accounts, the numbers don't match the lifestyle. She out-earned her parents by a mile, but she didn't out-save them by much. It's like her paycheck went to the gym and bulked up, but her savings stayed home watching Netflix. 10 years from retirement, she realizes something terrifying. She spent 20 years upgrading her present at the expense of her future. In a minute, I'll walk you through a simple move that would have changed Lisa's life without taking the joy out of her spending, so don't skip ahead. Next, meet Jay. Jay is 35, a millennial who did everything the right way on paper. Went to college, worked hard, slowly paid off student loans, lived through the 2008 financial crisis and the weird, unstable job market that followed. For his generation, the old signals of arrival, a house, a pension, affordable real estate, felt out of reach. Prices shot up, wages didn't keep pace, student debt exploded. So the culture offered a new story. Spend on experiences, not things. You can't take money to the grave, live your best life. Jay listened. Weekend trips, concerts, brunches, subscriptions, food delivery, travel. His social feed is full of memories, beautiful ones. But at 35, his investment accounts are thin. No property, modest retirement savings, and a low-level anxiety about the future he manages by, you guessed it, booking the next trip. His bank account is like, bro, I'm exhausted, and his passport is like, let's go. The trap isn't experiences themselves. Experiences have real value. The trap is using experiences as a substitute for building assets, and then having social media and marketing tell you that this substitution is enlightened, evolved, wise. Imagine being 45 with the world's best photo gallery and no investments backing up those memories. The stories are rich, the balance sheet is not.
Finally, meet Mia. Mia is 23. She's Gen Z. She knows what an index fund is. She's watched more finance content on TikTok than most boomers watched in their entire lives. She invests a little each month and feels proud of that, and she should. But her generation has a new version of the trap, aesthetic wealth. The signal isn't just the house or the lifestyle anymore, it's the look. The apartment that photographs well, the clothes, the tech setup, the brands that quietly say, I have taste, I have money, I have arrived, to thousands of followers she'll never meet. Mia invests $50 a month into an index fund and spends $200 a month on stuff designed to look good on camera. The ratio between performing wealth and building wealth is 4-to-1 in the wrong direction. She's got the rich main character energy on a very supporting cast budget. The trap for Gen Z is not ignorance. They know the words. They talk about financial freedom and passive income. But sometimes they use the language of wealth building to perform financial awareness rather than to actually build financial substance. Posting about investing while not increasing the actual numbers creates a dangerous illusion. You feel like you're making progress even when the math isn't moving. In a couple of minutes, I'll give Mia's generation a simple flip, one ratio change that can make the next 20 years look completely different. Okay, stories are powerful, but let's look at the numbers so you know this isn't just narrative, it's reality. In late 2025, U.S. household debt hit a record $18.8 trillion, up about $4.6 trillion since 2019. Mortgages were more than $13 trillion of that total. Roughly 7 out of every $10 Americans owe is tied to a house. Credit card balances broke past $1.2 trillion, the highest level since the New York Fed started tracking the data. And delinquencies across all debt types climbed to around 4.8% of outstanding debt. Zoom out even more. Household debt is around $18.8 trillion, and that's roughly 60 to 68% of U.S. GDP, depending on the quarter you look at. Household debt has reached all-time highs, even as inflation-adjusted debt has only been flat on paper because wages and prices both moved. This is the trap at scale. As a country, we're financing lifestyle and signals, houses, cars, cards, experiences, faster than we're building assets, savings, and true financial resilience. The good news? You don't need to fix the whole country. You just need to flip the order in your own life. And that's what we're doing next.
If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this one sentence: assets first, lifestyle second. Not forever, not live miserably until you die, just long enough that your assets are doing enough work on their own that your lifestyle is genuinely paid for by returns, not just by your next paycheck. Everyone who escaped the generational trap did one uncomfortable thing. They chose to look less wealthy than they actually were, so their real wealth could grow faster. In other words, they gave up flexing on strangers so they could quietly flex on their bank accounts. Step 1. Create a stability gap, the space between what you earn and what you spend. If you make $3,000 a month, do not build a $3,000 lifestyle. Build a $2,200 or $2,400 lifestyle and protect that gap. That gap is where your future lives. It's the money that can go to paying down bad debt, building an emergency fund, and investing. No gap equals no compounding. In about 30 seconds, I'll show you how to grow that gap without feeling like you've ruined your life. Step 2. Freeze your lifestyle when your income increases. The next time you get a raise, do something wild. Don't upgrade anything for 3 to 6 months. Keep living like you did before. During that time, send most of the extra money to savings, investing, or debt payoff. That's how you slowly turn into the person whose wealth grows faster than their aesthetic. Think of it as a cool-down period for your wallet. Your paycheck gets bigger, but your Amazon cart doesn't have to know it immediately. Step 3. Attack fixed expenses. These are the big, boring numbers: rent or mortgage, car payment, insurance, subscriptions. If you can reduce even one of those, your gap gets bigger every single month. Downshifting from a $600 car payment to a $350 one, renegotiating insurance, canceling unused subscriptions, that's like giving your future a raise without asking your boss for anything. Step 4. Build a small emergency buffer. Start with 1 month of expenses in cash or a high-yield savings account. An emergency fund sounds boring, but it's one of the most underrated financial tools in the world. When life throws you curveballs, medical bill, car repair, job hiccup, that buffer keeps you from running to the credit card and deepening the trap. Step 5. Make investing automatic. Do not rely on motivation. Motivation is like Wi-Fi. It's great when it's there and randomly disappears right when you need it. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking into a diversified investment, like an index fund, every payday. Even $25, $50, or $100 a month adds up when it's consistent. Automation turns "I'll invest when I feel like it" into "I am investing whether or not I check my phone." That's how you quietly build substance while everyone else competes on signals.
Let's bring this all the way back to you. Which version of the trap are you in right now? Is it the house-heavy plan, where almost all your net worth sits in the home and your other assets are thin? Is it lifestyle creep? Every raise turned into upgrades, so your wealth-building gap never grew. Is it aesthetic wealth? Performing success online while the actual numbers stay small? You don't have to answer in public, but you do have to answer honestly to yourself, because the first step out of any trap is being able to name it. Here's your challenge for this week, if you're serious. Calculate your gap. How much comes in, how much actually stays. Pick one fixed expense to reduce, cancel, or renegotiate. Set up one automatic transfer, savings, investing, or debt payoff, even if it's small. Imagine future you DMing you from 20 years ahead, like, "Hey, thanks for not blowing all of our money on vibes." That's the version of you we're building. If this hit a little too close to home, that's a good sign. It means you saw your generation's trap clearly. Now share this with one person whose version of the trap you already see, and drop a comment telling us which generation's story felt most like yours. Remember, the signal changes every decade. The substance never does. Assets first, lifestyle second. That's the move every generation that got it right eventually figured out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.